Welcome, everybody, to our fourth episode of the newly branded or rebranded Stramaglio Show. Used to be Next Week's Life. That got a little cumbersome, so we moved it to a very innovative name, Stramaglio Show. It's simple, even I can get that. Well, I'm very, very thrilled, and I think everyone in the audience is going to be equally thrilled to introduce two gentlemen many of you probably know and have heard of from Novatech, our friends at Novatech and Dan Cooper, phenomenal company. So please allow me to introduce you to Brandon Jarrett and Ted Becker. So if you don't mind, I'm going to get right to it. I'm going to go to Ted first. Hey, Ted, give us your title and what you're doing at Novatech.
So thanks for having me. Number one, Mike, it's a pleasure. My name is Ted Becker. I am the division president of Office Technology. I'm responsible for everything on we'll call it the print side of the business. Most people will know print. So anything in the print world is mine. Sales, service, that's my group. So.
Well, it's great to have you. Really appreciate it. And now we're going to switch over to the other side of the house. So if you don't mind, I'm going to introduce you to Brandon Jarrett. Brandon, tell us what you're all about and your title.
Thanks for having me, Mike. It's good to see you again. Brandon Jarrett, Division President for Managed Services and Security here at Novatech. My responsibilities, much like Ted's, anything and everything managed services and security falls kind of in my bailiwick.
Well, welcome to the show, gentlemen. It's really a pleasure. I'd like to start off a little bit on the IT side of the house. From what I understand, you're going to be visiting with ConnectWise and a young lady executive over there by the name of Jenna. So, why don't you tell us what you're thinking about that week and what you expect and what you'll be doing?
Yeah, next week is IT Nation Secure. Novatech is a member of the Office Technology Advisory Council. So I will spend a full half day with Jenna and other members in our peer group there. We'll roundtable what's working, what's not, what's new. And this is outside of Mike, our normal quarterly peer groups that we do with ConnectWise with businesses that are our size. So looking forward to it. It's always fun to go spend some time with that group and with Jenna.
Well, good insight. I understand that's going to be a great event. So, I'd like to ask both of you the same question. How difficult is it to manage both sides of the house? So, how are you interacting with the core side of the business and the IT side of the business, or is it significantly separated? So, if you don't mind, I'm going to ask Ted that question first.
I'll start with the last part of that question. It is definitely not significantly separated. We're one organization through and through. We happen to have different responsibilities, but ultimately cross sell, go to market is all one, 100%. So the difficulty is maintaining that culture, right? As we've grown and continue to grow, how do you keep the silos from forming as they tend to do? That's probably the difficult thing. But I mean, I think for me and Brandon, and I won't speak for him, but our bond, our connection, like today we went to lunch together. I mean, it's constant. We want to be very, very connected, so that we're preventing fires from popping up as much as possible. So.
So the culture is really cross driven. You really are training people, hiring people for that role.
100%. Yeah. I mean, it's part of our standard onboarding for the OT side of the business. They go through, let's call it the print training. And the print training is centered around the managed office, our go-to-market strategy, which is, all our services, our whole portfolio. And then we augment that. And Brandon's team actually hosts the second piece of that for any new hire here. They go through mock P certification, which is managed office certification. And that's centered around understanding all of our services, and I let him speak to more detail about that. But that's another 8 weeks that we're doing that now, so that every new hire, including the folks that are here, have been through that certification program.
What percentage is the core business versus the new business, if I could say it that way? So, Brandon, what about?
Yeah, can I back up just a little bit, Mike? I want
Yeah.
to kind of reiterate a couple of points that Ted made. I think, the two of us in our roles, being, sort of in lockstep together really helps the culture of the business. So there's not, separations or silos or things like that. If you look at our geographic footprint, my team is mixed in with the print team. Um, I think one key area that I've always wanted to get to, sort of in my career in this industry, is being able to leverage our print technicians as field engineers and field technicians on the managed services side. And so we don't have any field employees, any field engineers on our side of the business. Ted certifies his technicians, and we use those technicians in the field as MOS technicians. So I think, of all my stops along the way, I think we've done a really good job here at Novatech of really driving the managed office as one company and really not as separate divisions.
So the culture is a unified front, essentially, driven top and horizontal and vertical. So for both of you, then, given what you just shared with us, how difficult is it for you to find quality people to fit into that culture and find homes in either side of the business? How do you identify that?
Honestly, we have an amazing recruiting team. We have two groups, one that does primarily sales, and then the other one does technical. We're very fortunate. We've done a pretty good job with our brand, I think. So we get a lot of industry folks who want to work here, so that's always nice. So, but we have a goal, or at least I do, and I think Brandon shares this, is to introduce this industry to others and new people. I think it's obviously done very well for yourself. It's done very well for me in my career. There's a lot of longevity in this industry, despite what others might think. Um, so I think introducing it to the new is a lot of our goal. We have recruiting programs are centered around college recruits. Obviously, sales is a piece of that, but also on the technical side. Um, is it difficult? It's always difficult. Anything that begins with a P in terms of people, it's always going to be a little bit difficult. But I think we're very fortunate to have the team we have recruiting. And we're always top grading, which is important because that's how you create good roles. Um, and and I think that's working very well for us. I don't know, Brendan, if you want to add something to that.
Yeah, I'll echo all that, Mike. I'll tell you, we have incredible internal recruiting here at Novatech, constantly interviewing. I would say probably 15% of my time is spent recruiting. To Ted's point, top grading and looking for talent. I'll tell you this: it's our goal, and I think we're really doing it to make Novatech an employer of choice. And to Ted's point, we do get a lot of folks approaching us. I was one of them. Like I mentioned to you in the pre-show, I tried to get here 3 years ago, and the timing just wasn't right. So, you know, that's the type of culture, the type of brand that we're really trying to build. To Ted's point, we use a lot of interns on the technical side. So think we have 4 interns in house from local schools right now, and they convert to FTEs with us after they graduate. We've been very successful with that. So I think that's one thing that we do very well here is recruiting and attracting talent.
Well, that's good to hear because I hear all the time from dealers how difficult it is to recruit, and I'm always curious when I find people who are doing it really well. So kudos to your recruiting team. You obviously have something really good going on there. So what is the message? So when you think about Novatech as a brand and a company, uh, what is that culture? What do you want to represent? To your clients and frankly the industry. So when the industry thinks of Novatech, what should they think?
TSP, like total solutions provider. I mean, I know that term gets thrown around, but I mean to the client, we want um, had one this morning, but the classic old school customer service. I know that I'm dating myself a little bit, but most of us have come through COVID and it wasn't so great. So we want the pre-COVID customer service level that we all of came up with. I think the messaging obviously is very branded around the managed office and being the all-inclusive provider from the front door to the back door. All the technology that lives in an office space, we definitely want to, provide that to our clients. We want to continue to cross-sell, deepen and widen, but driven around good customer support. I think that's the key there is that quality support. Brandon?
When we go, yeah, when you look at it, I mean, the managed office, and we have a really cool graphic that floats around on our socials, Mike. But it's sort of an office footprint with kind of an X-ray laser going across it. And to me, that's the best picture of what we do and what we want to be. So whenever we walk into a prospect's front door, they know what we're coming in there for. We're coming in there to look at everything and not just one thing.
Mm.
And our folks are trained and they have the support that they need to be able to execute on that. And so I think that really makes us different. The investment on the front end of recruiting in and training new sales folks and then certifying them on both sides of the business really
Yeah.
creates a unique opportunity for us to take our offerings to market.
So here, hard to believe we're knocking on June, knocking on the door of June, and half the year is gone. Incredible as that is to me. I mean, it just zipped by. What do you see for the rest of this year, this calendar year? How are you viewing the marketplace? Is it stronger, better than? Has it exceeded your expectations? So I'll go back to Ted on that one. What do you see for the rest of the year?
I mean, I think it's going to be challenging. I think in terms of where the market is, though, our message or my message to the team has been consistently, we need to be opportunistic at this time. There's a lot of uncertainty and doubt and question around, everything from tariffs to the industry to the manufacturers. There's so much uncertainty and doubt. We have to be on our game now. Now is the time to strike, in my view. Now is when the strong get stronger and the weak get weaker, and we're clearly strong, and we just want to be stronger than we are today. So I think I'm an optimist, but I believe that sometimes in the toughest times, that's when you flourish. And for us, that's now, not internally. That's more market spoken about, but internally, I think we're in a great position to be dominant, and that's kind of what we want to do. We want to bring our offering beyond where we are today.
On our side, Mike, we significant MRR growth to start the year. We had the best quarter in the history of Novatech on the managed services side to start the year. Big thanks to Ted's team for all of those efforts. So that was massive cross sells in Q1. We're very strong top line MRR growth, both in traditional managed services and security services. Really focused on the first part of the year, sort of tightening up on the expense side. So I expect our earnings to really get stronger as we go through the rest of the year this year.
So when you're and clearly you could tell I'm kind of dumbfounded. It's already June. It's unbelievable to me. So when you're looking at the message that you want to send to the industry about Novatech. So Novatech has an incredible brand. I think the company is well known for high quality people, beginning with Dan Cooper, of course, and all of you. So when you look at the rest of this year, how do you expect, or how do you intend to pursue a great, getting over those concerns that you were talking about, Ted, being an optimist, but you see some challenges. So are you prepared for those challenges, given the fact that Novatech is a pretty powerful company? So I'd like to go back to Brandon on this one, because I see IT services, or however many dealers characterize it, as an explosive part of the business for the rest of this year and into next year. So is that a Novatech mission?
It is, Mike, and I mean, again, we see it working through the financials and working through our sales results. I mean, the appetite in the market is there. 2024 was a little bit of slow growth year for all managed service providers. It was single digit growth, but double digit earnings growth. So that tells you that most service providers were really trying to figure out automation and how to tighten up their processes. I'll tell you that there's an appetite out there for managed services, more so managed security services. And so I think, we've done a really good job here building out our Fortress portfolio. Fortress is our brand for our security offering. If you think about a fortress, it has a moat, it has a drawbridge, it has archers, it has all those different layers of security so you can't get into that fortress. And we built a portfolio of that to take our security services to market. So for us, that's what we lead with. It's not the blocking and tackling of day-to-day IT, like let me be your help desk and things like that. That's not how we position our services at all. We position them as a security-focused organization, and it's really worked out well, and it's showing itself, in our results.
So everybody's talking about AI, AI, AI. So are you involved with AI in your company, and or how are you involved with AI with your clients? So I'll go back to Ted on that one. Are you involved with AI and using the tools inside of Novatech?
Not where we believe we should be. No, I think we have a AI committee. We meet about it. We've talked about internal utilization of it. We're nowhere near where we want it. It's ironic you bring this up because Brennan and I talked about this at lunch. It just we're just scratching the surface. So we really, in terms of taking it to our clients, I would say, unless Brandon corrects me on his side, we have not really brought anything, not from the print side or the OT side, to clients. We're utilizing it through some tools around our Power BI and our Salesforce, but in terms of Salesforce.com, but those are built into those. Those are not the things I think you're asking about, and nor what we want to be doing. We're using them, but they're not. We're just barely scratching the surface of the potential.
So on our side, Mike, we use. I would agree 100% with Ted. We talked about it over slice of pizza an hour ago, but we use a couple of different flavors of it to deliver our services. We use AI to evaluate our tickets and to give us common fixes based on what it sees within the customer tickets coming in. And then we use a little bit of AI to deliver self-service to our managed services clients so they can perform tasks such as password resets and add printers and things of that nature. So we're using it. We're probably not using it to the extent that we should, but it is a high leverage item for us because it'll ultimately reduce our operating cost over time.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it's just going to continue to go and go and grow and grow. So more meaningful for everybody. I'd like to dig in a little bit on the personal side with both of you gentlemen. So you have some interesting careers, and I know Brandon, you were telling me about coming up through Lanier, and it's been an interesting journey. So when you look at your personal success, what is it that who number one, who mentored you? Who was your greatest mentor? And number two, what message do you have for young people coming into the business?
I'll go, Ted. You're right. I came up through Lanier Rico. When I got into the industry, I went there to get Technoforce off the ground, which was Rico's attempt to do managed services before they purchased Mindshift. There, I had a pretty solid mentor there. Mark Miller was over the managed services program at Milner, and or at Rico, and he ultimately led those acquisitions. And then I had another guy, a Lanier professional services rep named Bob Scherer. He'll never know it because I can't find his contact information, but he made a profound impact on me as a young sales professional. And so from there, I spent 10 years with Milner. Charlie Gibson was a great mentor there. Charlie's a fantastic human being, probably one of the best in the industry. Enjoyed the time there, ran a cybersecurity company for a little while for private equity, about 3 years, and then came to Novatech. Dan Cooper, fortunate to get an opportunity to work with him. Had many friends in the industry and peers in the industry say, if you get a chance to work with Dan, you should take it. And so I was very flattered when the doors opened up after me banging on him for 2 years to come here. So that's sort of my path in a nutshell, Mike.
Well, I'm going to come back to you in a second, but I think Ted, how would you respond to this same question?
I think I've had a phenomenal career in my opinion. I started as an install tech. So, I think, what's the term, Brendan, in the Navy? I can't remember if Kerry uses it. Seaman to admiral or something like that. So,
That's right.
I've started, in the industry as a tech and then worked my way up, and I've had a lot of mentors throughout the years, in different capacities. When I was in sales, it was a gentleman named John Pruitt. When we were old, it was back in the day, it was Georgia Duplicating Products. Then 2010, we got acquired by Global, and then I was extremely fortunate because Global is just full of talented leadership. I mean, I got exposed to so many different people. Bob Corcoran, obviously Dan, George Cavallero. I mean, there's just been so many. There's a long list of people that I was exposed to and picked up little nuggets from everybody. But I don't know that I've ever had just a pure mentor, one-on-one. If the closest thing to that was probably Bob Corcoran, and he sits on our board and still it helps us with different projects here. He's retired now, but he's still helping Novatech, which is awesome.
So I'd like to go back to, and by the way, you mentioned some really great companies and people's names that I'm familiar with, not the least of which is Tom Johnson, right? Yeah. So, what message do you have for younger executives, if you will, in our industry, regardless of what they're doing, whether it's technical or services or sales? What would you say to, if you had an opportunity to talk to 150 younger people in our business? What's the secret sauce? What do you recommend to them? So I'll go to Brandon first.
Oof, this is a tough one. I think I think it's easy to look at the industry and say that it's not changing. It's things are always being done the same way. It's been around forever. Well, has been around a long time, and it's given Ted and I a great life and fantastic career. Um, and I think it's going to be around for much, much longer. And so I think, for young people that are in the industry or coming into it, it's a chance to be innovative. We're at a period right now in the industry where we need some innovators. We need people to innovate and not be afraid to innovate and to challenge. Let's don't look at things the way that we've always done them. Let's look at things a little bit differently. And so I think there's tremendous opportunity, Mike, still in the industry, and I'm confident it'll afford me the ability to finish out my career. So that's my 2 cents.
I would echo that. I mean, I would totally echo that. I mean, I hope I finish my career in this industry because it's been so good to me. You know what? I'm very fortunate that I do get the chance to speak with young professionals coming out of these college sales programs regularly. And the message is probably not unique to our industry. It's, work hard, to Brandon's point, challenge status quo, always be challenging status quo. We are a technology industry. We need to utilize it. We need to innovate. We need to keep pushing the envelope. The term print and OT. I mean, we're innovators. That's what we do. We're constantly, you think about all the different economic changes and challenges we've had over the years. Somehow we've survived, and we continue to flourish. And I think there's a ton of opportunity. And if you want to, this is one of the unique industries, I think, where you can go lateral, you can go vertical, you can go anywhere with your career adjacent. And try different things. Most people in our industry, I feel, are very thoughtful around the employee's life cycle and maximizing and getting them on the right seat on the bus. So I think most of us do very well in the industry about taking somebody who has the right qualities and putting them on the right seat. I think that's amazing, for what we do. So I don't. I mean, I'm a personal example of that. I've held a lot of different roles, so on both sides of the house, and as men, or I shouldn't say both sides, all sides of the house, technically. So
Well, Dan Cooper, I've known him for quite a few years, and he has a history of being an innovator. I mean, from the very beginning of this industry, 30 years ago, I can remember that he was doing things differently and successfully, and then found his way to global. So one of the guys that I think has a huge reputation for making changes happen, successful change happen, and working for him. This is the first time either one of you have worked for him. Is that no? You worked for him before?
I
Okay.
did. Yeah, Dan was our EVP at GDP Business Solutions when I was with GDP when we got acquired. So he was our EVP come like 2014. And so I've been working with him. He put me through global leadership. I mean, he kind of picked me out and challenged me to push my career in a different direction. So yeah, I've been pretty fortunate to work with him for 12 years, 10, 12 years, something like that, or somewhere in
And
that
you
range.
still like him. That's great.
Yeah, hey, how about that? So yeah.
All right. So a couple of other quick questions, and then we're headed around the corner here. So, from a personal perspective, what are the most important qualities you like to find in new recruits or in your on your team? What do you look for?
I think for us, you know, first and foremost is team player, and are they going to fit into our culture? So when we're looking to hire, Mike, this is not an individual decision that we make. We panel somebody that we're going to bring into to Nova Nation, and we're going to make sure that they're going to be a fit in the culture before, obviously we know they can do the job and they will do the job, but the most important piece is team player. And so i think uh, I think that's my 2 cents on that question.
Yeah, and I think you answered it for me because we're the same in a sense. We're very sensitive about our culture because we've found success with the cross sell and the bringing the two groups together. We're very sensitive about who we bring in. Um, that we put them to the ringer because it's very important. One cancer can destroy a lot of hard work, and so we're very selective about who we bring in, and you know, obviously hard work and all the other qualities, and those are things that we definitely look for. But I think protecting our culture and will they fit in our culture is probably key. I'm with Brandon on that one.
Well, Novatech has a very clear and defined reputation. The culture is, as far as my affiliation with Dan and the company has been nothing but spectacular. So, very, very important question. So, I gave you a heads up on this one before. So, what is your favorite Frank Sinatra song and why? So, Brandon, we'll go to you.
Oh man, I like "Fly Me to the Moon." I think the song, I think it was in this maybe early 60s when that one was released by Frank. I don't think he was the one that sang it originally, but I just love it. I mean, I like the messaging behind that one. I do like "That's Life" too. Those are probably two of my top two from Frank. But I'll be curious to hear what my partner in crime says on
Me too.
I
What about Ted?
I mean, I have very eclectic music taste, so I love Frank, but I have I like a lot, but I like My Way. I don't know. My wife would probably tell you it's Sed's way or it's the highway, so it's probably fitting for me. But I really like that song. But I love all of them, but that one stood out to me.
Well, I'm glad you guys actually had a song in mind, because when I'm talking with some of the younger kids, younger people, they're like, I have no idea. Frank, who? Some of them just miss, you know. So the final, and it's been really fun talking with both of you. But if you want to give a message to the industry, um, what is it? What do you want to say to the industry?
To the industry, I would say, we've talked about it during this interview, but it's be innovative. This industry has a long road to go, and we just got to keep being innovative and stick to our core around good quality service. I think that's the longevity piece for us. If we do those things, the CDWs and the other distributors, they'll never be able to do what we do. We'll always be different in that sense. So gotta stay true to our roots of sorts, kind of the Sinatra is. So
I love it. Bring it back to Sinatra.
yep.
And Brandon, what message advice would you give to the industry?
Yeah, be accountable. Number one, I think we have to be accountable for the level of service we deliver to our customers, and we need to keep a pulse on that. That's something we pride ourselves here at Novatech. We have in my division, we have a 98% customer satisfaction rating, and so I know Ted has high net promoter scores on his side of the business and high CSAT ratings. So I think for me, uh, it's a message of accountability.
Well, gentlemen, it's been fun and a pleasure to visit with you. We're around the 30-minute mark. The one thing I would leave you with, and I mean this with my greatest sincerity, I've always found the Novatech folks, beginning with Dan, of course, to be bright, innovative, intelligent, respectful, and very generous. So I would be remiss if I didn't say to Dan and Novatech, you guys are great. The company has a wonderful reputation, and your generosity precedes you. When we get on those motorcycles and we found our way to Novatech, you guys stood up tall. So as a veteran, I thank you. As a rider, we thank you. And as a colleague in this business, keep leaning forward. So we thank you very much. We thank you, and we'll talk to you guys again soon.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.